Hey guys! On today's episode of the Wilsons on Wilson, we actually had a chance to take the time to do some really fun stuff and have some little adventures off the farm. Now that we are doing episodes every second week instead of every week, there's so much to pack in. We're accomplishing so many things, and I'm trying to film as much as I can, but it's pretty crazy to try and do all of these things, plus film all of these things. It's crazy. And so sometimes Brendin and I just have to sit down once I've collected enough footage, and we have to sit down and strategize and game plan, because it's like 2 weeks worth of me doing 20 different things and friends coming over and all these things getting accomplished. And now this week, we also get to show you some really special things that we did off the farm. All right, we're back at Jordan's. So I forgot to put the SD cards in the mics, so we're just gonna have to put up with the top mic. I'm sorry, Brendin. And we're gonna go deadhead some stuff and check it out. Hello.
Hello.
How's it going?
I'll just do like a quick deadhead. I'll
Yeah.
kind of go around and check some stuff out. I brought the Dahlias
Good.
that are going
okay.
into here.
Yeah.
And everything looks like it's coming up beautifully.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
It's looking
looks-
really nice.
I think so. I think it's going so nice.
Being a part of their journey is really, really special to me. And being able to go there and work on their wedding flowers in this super original way has been so cool and so inspiring, because I don't just get to do flower arrangements for them and it's one and done. I get to go there and I get to help them maintain their garden and create this beautiful, living, thriving oasis that, you know, is their wedding florals. You know, they're getting married at home, that glorious off-grid spot that I showed you guys. And it's so rad. And to be there and be able to just, you know, like I said, not just build some gorgeous arrangements and fill the tables with flowers, which I love. I love. But I actually get to go there and connect with them and help them build their garden space and help them build a healthier future for their family. You know, we're planting herbs and all these beautiful things that are going to feed their family and keep them healthy. And I love that so much. It's so cool. Training these now at this point to come up. These will start to grab hold and do their thing. So then you would basically, like, you can see where these two kind of veer off from each other and around. And you can grab some clips if you want to, or like we did with the zip ties, you can't do that. But even just doing that to start guiding it up is gonna be really good. It's all looking lovely, right? We got to cut back the herbs and everything, so they were all flowering, and we're hoping to make it so that we get the second flush of flowers at the right time in August. And cut, I like to cut on an angle, just like that, and then that part's gonna bush out. So we did a beautiful little cutback. I kind of just showed Andi, how to prune harder perennial herbs and have one uniform cut, and then it falls away like that, like naturally. Try and follow a similar height-ish. So yeah, going right there would be good. And come in between these just like a little bit shorter. So just like that. And then we top their dahlias so that they can hopefully get tons of blooms. Again, fingers crossed, everything's blooming at just the right time. Your dahlias here are looking absolutely beautiful. I would start tying them back soon, and all I would do is just tie them to this fence. I like to make sure that I go in where the leaf is like coming out. So it was really beautiful, and
it's always nice to connect with them. They're such good, kind souls. It just feels good when you're around them, you know?
Ta-da-da.
We did a big cutback of our comfrey also over the last couple weeks, which has been much needed. And, you know, it's just so much fun to go out there and see the comfrey thriving so much.
These comfrey we actually cut back, I don't know, a few weeks ago we cut these guys back, and this is already what's regrown from them since. So, I mean, they're fast growers. They grow like crazy, and they just keep providing more and more and more, and they kind of never quit. They're pretty amazing.
We have all these different zones and all of these different things that we try. So there's some areas that we pull the comfrey out completely. We cut it back or we pull it back, and then we utilize it in other spots. So the circle, for example.
This comfrey here, we actually cut back all the way.
I went around with my wheelbarrow. I cut all the comfrey right back to ground level.
And then this is already what's grown back in less than a week.
I leave a couple new leaves coming up, but basically just I hack it right down to ground level. So the circle gets cut right back. Areas of the blueberries, I just do sort of like I basically do it like a living mulch.
We don't even cut them off. I don't even do anything like that. I took all of the outer leaves and I just crunched them down here so that they're covering this blueberry plant.
It's locking in that moisture, it's keeping the roots cool. You can even feel it just to touch, you know? Like, it's a significant difference. You feel bare soil and sand and it's hot to your hand. You put your hand underneath the mulch and it's cool and it's damp, and that's what those roots want. Just so important to us. You know, I've talked about it so many times, but it's like the comfrey is everything here. It's what we feed our garden, right? We do multiple different kinds of mulching and fermenting and drying and you know, we do tinctures and we do oil. We do all of these different things with our medicines, and comfrey is just this heavy hitter that just ticks every box, you know?
Breaking it down, it's choking out the weeds. It's magic. Magic. Okay. Today is finally the day that we're gonna make our comfrey fertilizer. Quite a few of you have asked sort of how I do it and for a little bit of a demo, so here we go. It's pretty simple. I use the stems and the leaves. For this job, we've cut off all of the big plants that were in the circle, and now all I do is I just kind of chop it up. Probably could have sharpened my knife before I started a demo. Does the trick. So then the bits are just kind of chopped up and broken.
Depending on how finely you chop it up, if you leave the leaves whole, it'll take longer to break down and ferment. If you chop it up really fine, it'll break down and ferment quite rapidly.
Typically, if I'm chopping up the comfrey and filling this bucket, I'm adding water until the comfrey is covered.
And then the rest of the comfrey that we don't use just goes straight into our compost and is able to break down and give all of those minerals and nutrients to our compost, which makes it super rich and wonderful.
So once you get it to a level that you like and you're happy with, all you have to do is top it off with water. There's nothing else to it. It's literally just fill your bucket up with water, put a lid on it, and then put it somewhere where you don't have to look at it for a while.
I use rocks to weigh it down so the leaves stay underneath. I seal it up and I just let it ferment. Like it's really quite simple.
Whether it's a month or, 2 months, you can leave it. This one's been out for a year. Looks good in there. If you open the lid and it's all broken down and you want to die, when you open it and smell it, it's ready.
It'll smell so bad.
Ugh. Oh my Lord. Oh yeah, that's the good stuff. It's ready, it's perfect. That's when it's at its best. So,
Like the bog of eternal stench. I don't know if you guys have watched The Labyrinth, but I mean, it's one of my faves. And yeah, you can strain those leaves out, or you can allow it to stay in there and kind of do its thing.
once you've let this sit for a while and ferment, you can just mix it in with your water. Don't use it straight for sure because it'll be way too strong. In the beginning of the year, I just use a little bit. As the year progresses, I use more and more in my mix, and they, if you can do it twice a year, that's awesome. If you can do it 10 times a year, that's awesome. Like, Comfrey is one of those things that the garden just loves always. So, there you go. My gosh, look at these squash have just gone crazy. That makes me happy. I love this. Look at this. Just like flowers. So you look and we've got dahlias, squash, tomatoes, and look at these guys. These lychee. Look at how beautiful they are. It's looking pretty good. Ooh, look at our beans. Good job, beans. Look at you coming up our cool little hidey hole structures. I love this. This is kind of done like a Three Sisters vibe. So it's got the squash in the lower areas, and then it's got the corn, and then in throughout it has the beans. So the beans can climb up the trellises that we made, and they can also crawl up the corn.
There's styles of farming that it's like the industrial farmer who just wipes the slate clean, makes everything perfectly flat, and everything is like industrial monocrop. And then there's a permaculture gardener who works with and nurtures the actual shapes and differences within the garden, So like an industrial farmer is gonna wipe the slate clean. A permaculture gardener is going to work with the flow of the land and create these beautiful pockets of biodiversity and water capture and all of these wonderful things. And, it's wild, and it's more like being a steward of the land. It's not making the land cater to you and what your needs are. It's looking at the land and seeing what the land wants and how you can fit your needs in with that, but like putting the land first. I think that's a big difference is, in industrial agriculture, the farmer and the crop come first. In permaculture and, more natural ways of farming, you put the land first. And you grow what you can, and you do all these things. Like we definitely make beds, we choose crops, we do what we need to do, but we're always putting the land first. Which I just think is super important. Super important.
Okay, it's in the barn.
Oh, way over there?
Yep. I got a hole in the box so we can put it in your truck too, so that hopefully it
good idea.
stops it from.
They would only end up falling over. That's not fun.
For Ashlee's birthday, Joe, her other half, asked me to make a big flower arrangement. And I was like, I hope you know what you're asking for.
Right.
Magnificent.
Right. I mean, you can go your way.
She will love it.
Right. This box goes in your truck.
This should be fun.
Here we go.
We had so much fun at Brendin and Ashlee's birthday. Oh my gosh. I mean, it happens every year, and it's kind of like the biggest to-do of the year, you know? Everybody gets all dressed up fancy on Friday, and we have a nice dinner together. In past years, we've had a friend of ours cater it, which was really fun. But this year we did a potluck with this smoked brisket. Oh my goodness, it was so good. And yeah, it was just like, it was beautiful. And then we have a pool party and there's games, and it's just all to celebrate Brendin and Ashlee, which, you know, is wonderful. So. Aleya came down and babysat things for us. She came and kept everything watered, and Cody kept popping back over, and, you know, he fed the dogs and did all the things. He's usually our bartender, which is a lot of fun.
These poor peas. They just didn't really have much of a chance.
I feel like sometimes we nail it and sometimes we don't. You know, like Jolene was over and she was planting some peas around the bases of the blueberries, but I think we forgot to water them or something, and they all died back, and Arya dug them up.
She dug up all around this whole entire bush.
You know, so it's like sometimes things get missed. Sometimes you look out there and you think, oh yeah, we've got this irrigation does this, blah, blah, blah. We're turning knobs. We're making things happen. And then, you know, things just get missed. And if you don't water immediately when you plant, things turn toast anyways. So it was actually the same day that we were making the new bed, which, oh my gosh, I think the new bed turned out so good. Okay, so I'm really excited about what we're gonna get up to. I'm gonna plant a whole bunch of dahlias in these beds that Cody and I made. We did it where we had the dahlias last year. We just basically sort of reworked that area, and we did like deep layer of the compost mix. So it's compost, manure, and sand. I'm really happy about where we're at. I think it's looking really good. I mean, we just need more space. We need more space for our dahlias. I think this is gonna look pretty good. And I know that the dahlias were super happy here last year. I mean, I know they'll get enough sun. I know they're gonna love this mix because it's got so much sand in it. It's gonna have such amazing drainage and beautiful composted manure. So I know that they're gonna be well fed, and I think it's gonna be really good. Okay, so we've finally reached the point where we have the opportunity to sell some of our flowers, and I am super excited about it. I met a couple just up the road that sells flowers, and they want to buy our dahlias for their arrangements and their sales. And I thought that I was gonna like start having cuts basically end of June, early July. It's end of July and they're just coming now. Mentioned it before in lots of different episodes, but it's like we had like that week of scorching hot. And so the Dahlias thought one thing was happening. And then we had like a month of freezing cold rain, like really, really cold rain. And the Dahlias were miserable. And then it got just immediately scorching hot again. And so in going from hot, cold, they got really squirrely. They're not looking good. Like, they have this really weird pattern forming to them. The buds are coming up irregular, and like I can't sell, even though it's fun to look at a dahlia that isn't a perfect circle. It's, you know, got different shapes or squirrely petals or whatever. I mean, I can't sell that, unfortunately. It's been tricky. It's been scary. And I'm really crossing my fingers that this turns out, because all of the dreams on this farm so far only cost money. And this is our only, like, this is so far how we plan to pay for that dream. I made $900 last year. I think I've made $0 this year. It's almost August. So if this doesn't work, I'm not sure what I'm gonna do. I mean, fingers crossed that pans out. I mean, that is what they're supposed to look like. That's glorious. Keep coming with that. I'm not really sure how this is gonna work yet. Okay. I am so scared that this isn't gonna work. Last year was so good. Like, last year's dahlias were out of control. They were magnificent. And I based my plans for this year off of last year. What a mistake. I mean, you'd think a farmer would know better. God. My list is long. And my body is tired. Like, we're just trying so hard. There's so many people in my life that believe in me. I just want to have as much faith in myself as others do, you know? Like, I just need to believe in me. I need to know that I can do this, you know? So, I'm just gonna have faith that this is gonna work and it's gonna be good. And, yeah. We can put some money back in instead of all of this money going out. So fingers crossed for that working out. I'm really hoping. So I'm gonna get to it. But I can do this. It's gonna be fine. We've got this. I can do this. These flowers are gonna grow. I need these dahlias to grow.
Now straighten it out. Yeah, just leave it in the middle.
driving.
The girls and I and Jesse went to the island, and it was lovely. Jolene came over and we harvested a bunch of veggies.
Grabbing a few things. Realized that I'm very not dressed for these. White shoes, white shirt.
I mean, why not go harvest some veggies in that outfit?
And loaded up and went on a road trip. And it was actually me and Jolene's first road trip together.
It is time. It is time. Loading up our haul from the garden, saying goodbye to this beautiful space, and hello to another one.
It was so cool to hang out with the kids.
Are you so excited for our road trip?
You know, just to see the wind. Oh my gosh, like everybody just like running around and playing on the ferry as the wind whips their hair around like crazy. And you know, it was so much laughter and connection. It was beautiful.
I think the seaweed thing that we were talking about.
Some kind of seaweed thing?
We got to save a bunch of seeds. So we went around and checked out a couple different farms. We checked out this beautiful lavender farm. Oh my gosh. And like, it looked beautiful, it smelled beautiful, but the thing that got me the most was the sound of all the bees. Like, it had to be tens of thousands of bees just everywhere, and the sound of it, just standing there in the lavender and closing your eyes. And just hearing that, oh, it was so beautiful. It was lovely to get to tour all these different places and check stuff out and save seeds to bring back here so we can do a little, you know, a little Salt Spring Island garden. So I think we're probably going to do it out by the bees out there where Aleya puts her bees. So that's going to be very, very cool. The thing that brought us to the island is actually the ocean. Having that time to connect Ember with the ocean was super important to Aleya and Jesse. So we went on a little adventure. We hiked to this beautiful spot on the ocean, and it was actually a pretty good little adventure because we had the littles and a wagon, and you know, it took multiple people trying to push this wagon up the hill and pull it and do all these things. We picked flowers along the way, and just the views were so magnificent. The sun peeking through the trees and the ocean twinkling in the distance. It was just absolutely lovely. And to walk that path that Aleya and Jesse have walked so many times before at different stages in their life, stages of celebration, stages of grief, you know, all of these moments that they have chosen to walk that path to get to that point, to connect with that ocean spirit. And this time we got to be a part of it. And that just gets me in my feels. It was really, really special. We laid down some blankets and had a beautiful ceremony. We walked down to the ocean, to this little tiny cove that was under these trees. And the sun was just sparkling through the branches and hitting the water. And it was so beautiful. Aleya dipped Ember's toes in the ocean, and the waves were just subtle and cool. They gifted the flowers to the ocean, which I thought was incredibly special. It was just this really beautiful moment of together. You know, celebrating this life and this love and this being that we are all so grateful was created and gets to be a part of our journey. It's just wonderful. The thing about this time of year is really that everyone else seems to be doing so much more. There's all these barbecues and, you know, everybody wants to go swimming and hiking and do all of these fun things. And we are at our busiest. So making the time to be able to go and do those things with the people that we love, it's tricky. It's tricky business. You know, if I want to take a whole day off, I have to try and plan for someone to babysit the farm and keep up with my watering, and I have to try and pack all of my chores that would happen that day into the previous 5 days, you know? So it's a lot, but some things are just so worth it. And if you don't take the time to enjoy the journey, I think that you've lost sight of the point of getting to, you know, the goals that you've reached.